The HAX was designed because there are so many times in a water system where they have air in the line, but they do not have an air release valve. Now, this can be caused for many different reasons. Number one, it could be because they don't have an air release valve in an appropriate spot. So the engineers or the end user just failed to put an air release valve where it needed to be. And they're constantly having issues. What we find also in systems is it could be that they engineered it correctly, but just for some reason, their system gets more air than they were anticipating. This could be due to pressure decrease and increases. That can cause additional air in the pipeline. It could be to warm up and cool down. That can cause additional air in the pipeline. Could just be that they didn't realize in construction they had a high point and the contractor had to go over a pipe that he didn't know that was buried, and so they had to make an adjustment. Now we have a high point and we're causing air issues. What you'll find is when there's air in the line isn't operating efficiently, which means your pumps are working harder, which means your mag meters might not be working properly, which means your pressure transducers may not be working properly. Your pressure reducing valves, your clay valves, or your singers, whatever you may have, may not be working as well because of the excess air. It could be that you got air in the pipeline because there was a break in the pipeline and they needed to open up the pipeline and add a spool piece, a repair clamp. They needed to repair a valve and they replaced the valve, and now they've got to get the air out. Air release valves should be in the piping system approximately every half a mile. The problem is that leaves a lot of space for no air release valve. And so if we don't have an air release valve in the area and we have two isolation valves and we've got to get the air out of the pipeline, how do we get it out? Standard procedures and standard practices is the operators will open up a fire hydrant. The problem with that is if it's in the west where we are and it's the middle of the summer and people are crying drought, and then people from the community are driving around and they're seeing water gushing out of a fire hydrant because they need to air out the system, that doesn't look so good. Could be in the winter and you're trying to get the air out of the system and you've got water going all over the road in the middle of a snowstorm when there's going to be ice and other dangerous things because of the water coming out of the fire hydrant. It could be that the staff of the repair crew is short-staffed and now they have to have someone stand in front of the fire hydrant and babysit the hydrant so they don't have the water going all out. The problem is you never really know when you're venting the air out of the hydrant when you have all of the air out. The HAX is designed to solve all of those issues. A very simple fix is when you have a pipe break, you simply put the HAX unit on. Once the pipe is replaced, you open up the inlet isolation valve, you open the HAX and the hydrant, and you let it run. Once it's ran for probably 30 to 45 minutes, you'll hear all the air is out, and you can simply shut the fire hydrant down, and you have all of the air out of the pipe system. You then take the HAX unit off, replace the cap on the fire hydrant, and you're on your way. Nobody's had to babysit the valve or the hydrant. We haven't had any air or any water on the ground. We don't have a icy mess. We don't have neighbors complaining about a drought. It really solves a lot of those issues.